Hi everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. Welcome to Training Tuesday for July 4th, 2023. This week, I am featuring one of my Morelia bredli. Her name is Xahea, and she is 6 years old. She was actually hatched on June 22nd, 2017, and she is a sibling, an actual clutchmate to Zalenka, another Morelia bredli that I have here. And they were both produced by Casey Cannon, although Xahea found her way to Ralph Polinski, and then she found her way to me when Ralph Polinski sent me Sunspirit and Boreth. Xahea came along. So Xahea has been with me for 4 years. She's been quite reclusive. She has not been outgoing. She's in a 6x2x2 enclosure because she is quite a good-sized bredli, but she is absolutely 100% content never to leave that enclosure. I believe she's only ever come out of her enclosure by choice twice, and that was when she was in a 4x2x18, and she didn't go very far. And I was working on trying to get her to shift in and out, and she would shift part way out through target training, but not all the way. And she targets within her enclosure, which is right below this one behind my desk, and she practically lives in her sky hide. She absolutely loves her sky hide, and at most, sometimes she'll target half her body out of her sky hide, either across her enclosure to the other end of the 6 feet or a little bit out her door. And really recently, just within the last month, she's been using her entire enclosure. I see her stretched out on her 6-foot ledge. I see her on her branch. I see her basking. I see her on the other end of her enclosure. So she's been a little bit more outgoing within her enclosure. And then for the very first time, she targeted almost her entire body out during our training session, and that's what you're going to get to see. So I'm extremely proud of her since she has been such a reserved snake. I'm very, very proud of her that she has accomplished this after 4 years, and we're just going to continue to move forward and work with her more, and she will let me know how far she is ready to go when. So with that said, let's take a look at Xahea. What I have set up for her to target out onto as a station is my office trash can. So this is where I put paper, envelopes, just office trash. And it's on wheels so I can move it. And she's actually stuck her face out and investigated this before. And for whatever reason, she feels comfortable with this. And a few of the snakes have gotten down in the bottom of it and gotten down into the paper, and gotten underneath the paper and climbed through the paper. So for some reason, the snakes seem attracted to this. And so I decided I would have her shift out onto it because she seems familiar with it. It's always sitting near her enclosure. And like I said, she stuck her face out to investigate it before. And I was actually stunned and thrilled that she immediately just came right out onto it and started to move across the top of it. And so I asked her to target almost to the other side of it, and then I marked the end of the behavior and reinforced her, and that's a frozen thawed quail. We get our quail from Lane Labs, and she's always very cautious before she takes the food. She's very cautious in life about everything. I was thrilled that she came out with so much confidence. This is a new thing for her, and I was happy to allow her to be on that trash can until she was comfortable moving elsewhere. So you could see there that she still kept her tail anchored in that sky hide, which is her home base. She is very secure in that sky hide, and she seldom leaves that sky hide with her entire body. But she left just her tail in the sky hide this time, and she ended up having to shift almost completely out in order to turn herself around and get back into the sky hide. So after she finished eating, I could see that she was trying to figure out how to get back into her enclosure. And it took her a little bit to figure out that she had to go down instead of up. It's really, really, really instinctual for this species to go up. And so for her to come out of her sky hide and a little bit up onto this office trash can was pretty easy when she shifted out. But now, in order to get back into her habitat, and I'm not targeting her back into her habitat, I'm letting her figure this out on her own. It's just a problem-solving activity that she can now do. She's got to go down instead of up. And she kept looking up, trying to go up. But I just sat nearby and watched her, and there was no hurry here. And so this is a learning experience for her. And she can problem solve this and figure this out on her own. And while she's doing that, she is habituating to the environment around her. And hopefully next time we do a similar activity, she's even more confident than what she was this time. And this confidence level for this session was just way far above what I've seen from her in the past. So she ended up going back and forth between Benu's enclosure there and the trash can a couple of times until she finally figured out that in order to get back into her enclosure, she had to go down. And then what she tried to do, instead of just going back into her enclosure, is she wanted to go back into her sky hide. And so what she had to figure out there was that in order to get back into her sky hide with her head and neck and all of her body, she couldn't do that until she left her sky hide with her tail and the back end of her body. So she finally figures that out. She actually rests her head and neck a little bit on her own body as a bridge to get across to her sky hide. And then once she gets her head and neck into the sky hide, she leaves the sky hide with the rear end of her body and her tail. And so basically, during this session, her entire body ended up coming out of her enclosure and going back in, just not all at one time. So she had the front half of her body out during the target training session. And then in order to put herself away, she had to bring the back half of her body out. But she figured all this out on her own. I didn't prompt her. I didn't do anything. Other than the initial formal target training session, which you saw, I just left her here and I gave her the freedom of choice to remain out, to take her time figuring out how to get back in, because ultimately I wanted this to be a learning experience for her. And she's going to learn much better if she figures things out on her own versus me trying to prompt her or guide her in this particular circumstance. So she did a great job. She never panicked. She stayed calm and relaxed the entire time. And I am just super, super proud of her. This was a huge step for her, and hopefully we can move forward from here with further training, and she continues to exhibit more and more confidence moving forward now. Well, everybody, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I'm super proud of Xahea for doing that, and she was so calm about it, and she wasn't nervous or anything. So this is a big step in her life, and she's 6 years old. Hopefully she'll live a very long time, and so I'm sure we will see her doing many more things in the future, and perhaps wanting to be a little bit more explorative outside of her enclosure. But if she doesn't ever choose to do that, that is okay too. She has a nice large enclosure and she seems content in there so far, so I'm just happy about that. I don't think I mentioned before that she is a hypomelanistic Morelia bredli, and she is heterozygous for stonewashed. Her clutchmate, Zalenka, that I also have, he is actually a low expression stonewashed, and he's been in some other videos. So I hope that you can see that this was a big success for Xahea, and I'm sure proud of her. And until next time, everybody, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.